If you've ever had this feeling that something was terribly wrong with the world that we live in, but you couldn't figure out just what it was, then you've come to the right place. Secret societies, mystery religions, and the Illuminati have been controlling our reality since the beginning of time. But not anymore, because there is an awakening happening, and you are about to become a part of it. Wake up, because this is a call for an uprising.
This is a call for an uprising. Welcome to today's show. Oh, the Masons aren't going to be happy about this one. The statue, which I've talked about many times over, of Albert Pike that sat so proudly in D.C., added to the list of statues and monuments that have been toppled over and lit on fire. That's right, the statue of Albert Pike in Judiciary Square has officially been burnt to the ground. Now, look, I'm laughing because I'm not an advocate of what they're doing in general. At the same time, I don't believe in having statues of any of these people up, any of these generals, these false idols. Okay, these guys are all Masons, and any Freemason that comes out and is livid about the Albert Pike statue coming down knows that it's for the greater good of the cause that they're trying to achieve, because they know exactly what's going on. Now, before I get into the article, which actually, believe it or not, mentions Freemasonry and the KKK, shockingly, but says it can't be proven his affiliation with a lot of these groups like the KKK, which is a total joke. They actually just scrubbed that off the internet. He was one of the founding fathers, if not the founding father of it. Now, a smart person asked me today a smart question. And what is the point of all of these statues getting removed? What is the point? What does it mean, right? What's the big deal if these people symbolize race? There's a huge purpose behind it. There's a huge purpose behind the kneel. There's a huge purpose behind the statues coming down. There's a huge purpose behind people no longer saluting the flag. This is about a one world order. And people call me absolutely insane for believing this because it's so ingrained in their head, for the red, white, and blue, thinking of the boomer days and the 1950s and the parades and saluting the soldiers. Those days are done. This new change they're talking about, this isn't just a change to our laws and our free speech and things like that. It's a world change movement. What they're going to say is that what America symbolizes and its past is it symbolized and was brought and put together on the shoulders of people who were racist. And that the flag can even be looked at as representing that. Not just the Confederate flag, the American flag. And I did a video recently, which not many people saw, probably just because my channel's been in transition going between the channels, which is up, and I'm going to put it up actually again on my other channel. People were calling me absolutely insane, which isn't a surprise because they've done that over and over. They did that with me talking about vaccines years ago. Many of the stuff going on. I mean, there's a long list. And I'm not saying I haven't been wrong about stuff either, because I have been. But one of the things that people don't seem to want to believe is that the flag is not going to exist. There's going to be a one world flag. The removal of these statues and these symbols, which represent the basis and the building of America, is what this is going to come down to. And there's going to be a new symbol and a new sign, and it's going to be a world united together as one. It's all working together, hand in hand with the C-19, with the BLM movement. All the stuff that you see going on. That's what it's about. And I'm going to get into more detail of that on my website, thecallforuprising.com, because you can only go so far on here to talk about certain things. The reason that my channel got demonetized was simply talking about how people shouldn't be getting involved in any of this unrest and civil unrest that they predictively programmed us into. Because all of the tensions and stuff between people of different skin colors is brought on by the media. They're the ones who create it. All these TV shows promote it. All these stand-up comics talk about it, right? Where do you think people get these ideas from? Not just from they grew up in the South and their father was so-and-so. No, It's from stereotypes, and they create these things. So the statue of Pike has come down, it says, for a period in the early 1990s, and again, in the wake of this movement and what happened in Charlottesville, activists and city officials alike called for the removal of the statue of Albert Pike. Those demands, which surfaced again in recent weeks, have been mirrored in bureaucracy requiring congressional approval to remove the monument. Protesters bypassed the official process entirely on Friday, scaling the 11-foot bronze statue of Pike, wrapping it in chains, pulling it down, and setting it on fire. It is, or rather was, the only public outdoor statue in D.C. that honors a Confederate general. And it says amid a day of Juneteenth celebrations and continued demonstrations against racism and police brutality, the group of protesters marched past the Metropolitan Police Department headquarters before heading toward the corner of 3rd and whatever street this is, around 10 o'clock at night. Dozens of people gathered around the statue, which sits on federal land. As some protesters scrambled up, others guided them or were to attach the ropes to the statue. Police officers surrounded the area but did not seem to interact with demonstrators, and this is another reason that you know that all this stuff is all part of a plan and everyone's working together. And these protesters who actually go and do these, destroy statues and stuff like that, do you know how many years in jail you would go for doing something like that? No one's getting arrested. Ooh, what a surprise. The police are standing there and watching it occur, right? That's because it's part of a plan. It's always part of a plan. And when they feed you this in the media, you know it's part of a plan. But here's what they say about Pike. Pike convinced and led a number of Native American tribes in a battle on behalf of the Southern cause, losing badly at Pea Ridge, blah, blah, blah. After the war, Pike spent time in Tennessee, where some allege he fell in with the KKK and helped form their rituals. Wink, wink. Through hard evidence, though, hard evidence does not exist for the claim. That is total BS. I had videos up on this with documentation. You can't even find the PDFs anymore online, or any of the stuff affiliated where you could actually associate him with being at these meetings and being in these town halls and arranging this stuff because they wanted to protect Pike's name, because they don't want people to go after the Freemasons, right? Obviously, they don't want him going after the Freemasons because the Freemasons are involved in all of this, because the police force are involved. And if the police force, the Fraternal Order of Police are involved, then the Masons are involved. And again, remember the Masons' motto, make good men better. Well, that's what they think they're doing here. They think that they know it's in the best interest of our society and our world, that they're the leaders and the controllers and the rulers. And they're going to guide us to to live in harmony. And it's all bullcrap. So it says, whether or not Pike was a bona fide member of the KKK, Pike was certainly once a member of the nativist Know-Nothing American Party, which was an avowed racist. In addition to practicing law and writing poetry, Pike became a very active member of the Freemasons. He authored Morals and Dogma of the Ancient and Accepted Scottish Rite of Freemasonry in 1871 and remains a revered figure among the Masons. Now, of course, missing from this is the worship of Lucifer that he proudly speaks of, the fact that all Masons are required to read Pike's teachings. He's more than just revered in Freemasonry. He's looked at as one of the founding fathers of it, even though it was around before he came. But you don't hear any of that stuff in there, right? Now, I can't get into any more stuff about the statues, but again, my take on all of this stuff is, the fact that people believe this, no one's getting arrested for any of this stuff. These are statues that probably cost hundreds of thousands of dollars to make. They're getting torn down, they're getting, set ablaze, no one's getting cuffed. And somebody who might be getting arrested, you're willing to go to jail for 30, 20 years for public vandalism of federal property because, of a statue? If you are, not a lot going on in your head because it means nothing to most people. But it's part of the show. And remember, to get to the one world order, to get everything in line and in sync, what once was the history here has to be demolished. They want people to look back now and be frowned upon. And sure, say, there's a lot of positive things that happened here, but this country was based off the founding fathers who built this country. All were these people who created slavery and created this stuff, right? But what we can have now, instead of standing and saluting the flag that they created, is we can create a new one. A one world flag. A flag that unites all nations under one. Sounds pretty... people think it sounds crazy, but it's not. Look how quickly and drastically things have changed. You don't think that they can get rid of the flag? You don't? I mean, if you're someone in your 50s and 60s, I know it sounds insane, but look around you. We've got 5-year-olds telling their parents what gender they are. The flag isn't going to stand for what it used to stand for because they're going to change what it stood for. And that's why you keep hearing story after story after story. And it's hard to even talk about this, so I'm not gonna. At least not here. I will on my website. But this is what it's about. So Pike's statue comes down. Yet there is still a statue, I believe, of the Baphomet up out there. A false idol statue. But I can't say how I feel about that either because, all these people are so happy. But there is one. I'm just letting people know. It's a giant goat with breasts and a penis that they worship, that they drag around. But I don't know where that is right now. I guess that's hidden somewhere. But they'll say that doesn't represent racism. It only represents Satanism and, all types of acts with children. But let me get into that on my website, not over here. Well, thank everybody for watching today's show. Albert Pike's statue is no more, but trust me, it's still all part of the plan. And thank you again. God bless you and your families.